Hello everybody, thanks for tuning in to your Arsenal Advisor. This video is going to be about some results comparing the standard barrel to the 6-inch hunting barrel. This is a Glock barrel. I got it from Glock. I think it might be called the hunting barrel, but at any rate, it's a 6-inch barrel, and you can put it into, I think they said Gen 4 and below G20s. So I just want to point out, so the standard barrel is 4.61 inches, and this one's 6 inches. Well, I have a comment about the chronograph distance. I was kind of maybe 8 feet away in front of the bench. And then I guess I calculated out the standard deviations and like the average velocities to see kind of comparison between the standard deviation of my reloads versus some factory standard deviations. All right, let's check it out. Here's my setup. It's a Caldwell chronograph, and I'm shooting at this little target out at 100 yards. I'm just reading the velocity off of the chronograph and writing it down after each shot. These first shots are the 155 grain Berry's plated projectiles. Not see a jump in velocity when I added started shooting with the 6-inch barrel. Also, at this point in editing, I realized I didn't film the 135 grains, which didn't have a big velocity difference. I saw it again when I got the 155 grain. All right, so I hope the data about the G20 with the standard versus 6-inch barrel was informative. I just want to add some things now that the results. I converted the velocities, I used the average velocities to do the energy calculation, and it was interesting that the PMC had the biggest jump in the energy, close to a 13% jump. Or I just divided the higher energy by the lower energy, and I'm calling that the percentage difference. So I thought that was it seems a lot better, because in the first video that I had talked about the feel of shooting the pistols with the two different barrels, didn't seem very didn't really notice a big difference. I thought there'd be a bigger velocity jump, and I didn't really see that in the results. But when I converted into the energy jump, it's a little bit more visible. Like with PMC, it's 13% more. Blazer got to be almost 9% more. The S&B XRGs almost 6%. Now getting back to my reloads, the 155 grain berries got almost 8% of a jump. I'm still probably gonna have to do this again. Maybe put the chronograph further away, just to make sure that those aren't the standard velocities of particles coming out of the barrel. I mean, the numbers I was getting were consistent with the projectile velocities. I don't think I missed one velocity like sometimes I do when I'm shooting rifle. I have different errors and things like that. It was all normal looking data. I just thought that at almost 1.5 inches to the barrel, it might be adding to the pressures, and which might add to the velocities. Now, in the standard or a full-size Glock, you're not going to get a different sight radius, but if you have a longer slide, obviously this barrel reaches to the end of the longer slide, and you have the longer sight radius, which would probably help with accuracy. But I can't say yet that you're going to get a lot more velocity out of the 6-inch barrel. But I think I want to do some more testing, and probably should get some of that, Buffalo Bore, one of those, and Underwood. That's the other one I was trying to think of, that notoriously powerful, loaded powerfully for the 10mm, where some of the people say some of these standard factory offerings are only a little bit more than 40 Smith & Wesson, or 40 Smith & Wesson loads just loaded in the longer 10mm chamber, something like that. But it's hearsay. And I have a 40 Smith & Wesson Glock, the G22, and should probably test those out in comparison. So we'll see, maybe next time I get some of that other ammo. The other thing I was going to say, I was going to mention the berries bullets. I think they're plated lead. I think the plating, it's a thinner coating of copper, and I don't know if potentially that they deform more inside the barrel, make a better seal with the gas. I'm trying to explain why I got an 8% jump in energy versus almost no jump in anything with my 135 grain Nosler projectiles I use in 135 grain reloads. That's factory projectile. Well, the berries are factory also, but they're considered plated lead. I think the Noslers were like a standard jacketed hollow point. All right, so I think that was what I wanted to say. So hope this was helpful, and appreciate you watching, and hope I'll get more information on this in the future.